Hello, greetings, and salutations. Welcome aboard my podcast. I am Jason with Jay's Paradise Travels. I'd like to welcome you to this week's episode. Thank you for tuning in. Today I'm going to be talking about my experience with the Miami Dolphins. This is kind of a continuation of a previous podcast I had made about my experience with the Miami Hurricanes. The Miami Dolphins and the Miami Hurricanes is two games that I was able to see in the same weekend on the same trip. I was able to talk about my experience with the Miami Hurricanes in a previous podcast. I encourage you to listen to that. And today I'm going to continue up with that trip by talking about my experience with Miami Dolphins. Before I get into that, though, a little housekeeping to go over. If you'd be interested in going on vacation, specifically a cruise, which is my specialty, or maybe you want to go see the Miami Dolphins, you can reach out to me in a couple different ways. One of the ways is through social media. I have both an Instagram and Facebook account. They're both the same handle, Jay's Paradise Travels. That's Jays. Jay's Paradise Travels on both Instagram and Facebook. You can reach out to me that way. Or if you prefer, you could reach out to me through email. My email account is j.paradise_travels@gmail.com. Once again, that's j.paradise_travels@gmail.com. Okay, now that the housekeeping's out of the way, let me go ahead and talk about my experience with the Miami Dolphins. As mentioned, this was part of a weekend trip that I went to Miami and saw the Hurricanes, which is the college football team, and the Miami Dolphins, which is the pro team. Both share the same stadium, so it was nice to be able to knock out two birds with one stone on that one. This was a trip that I had planned months before, and at the time, this was back in 2015, I was working with the airlines, and a lot of times, because I had that ability to hop on a flight, it was there was a lot of times where I did things maybe last minute. This one, though, I had planned months in advance. I'd actually reached out to a childhood friend of mine, someone I had known since I was a teenager, um, someone I hadn't seen in a while. In fact, probably the last time prior to me seeing her then was when we were teenagers, maybe young adults. But both of us had been married since the last time we seen each other. I never met her husband. Anyways, reached out to her because she was in the area and was seeing if I could stay with them while going to the game, as well as if they wanted to go to the games with me, and they did, which was nice. It was nice to be able to see her again, meet her husband, and be able to go to the games with them. Um, anyway, so it was a weekend trip. I was able to fly in on a Friday. They picked me up from the airport. She did, along with her sister-in-law. Was able to go stay with them and their family. They kind of live near their in-laws, and I think we had dinner together that night, me, her, and her husband. And then the next day, they grabbed some stuff from Aldi. We had breakfast together before we went out to the game, to the Hurricanes game. And then I believe we even had dinner at a nice restaurant. I just can't remember if it was Friday night or Saturday night. I'm pretty sure it was Saturday night after the game. Did that. Sunday is the Miami Dolphins game. Following that, was able to we went back to their place, was able to spend time with their family, even kind of taught them football a little bit. I remember going over some things with the family, um, and then flew back on Sunday. That was kind of uh, the weekend and what it was. The day that we went to the Dolphins game was a little different than the day that we went to the Hurricanes game. Hurricanes Day was nice and hot and sunny. Not a lot of people there. They didn't draw a big, huge crowd. But the Dolphins was a little bit different, where there was a big crowd, and it wasn't as sunny. In fact, we even got some rain that day. I had to duck under whatever you want to call it, one of those like portals. Um, that's what we call them at Michigan Stadium. I don't know what else you might call them. But anyways, where you're walking into the stadium, whatever it's covering you in that area. Um, that's where I had to duck into there. I didn't bring a poncho, and I don't think we had any umbrellas. I don't even know if they're allowed in the stadium. I just remember it was pretty heavy rain. It's Florida. I feel like Florida rains every day. But it didn't rain like all game. It just rained part of the game. So, but that was all part of the experience there, and it was a nice time. Had a real nice weekend there in Miami. The game itself was interesting. So, if you I won't go and spoil the other podcast too much, but basically the Hurricanes game was a blowout in the first half alone. And in this game, the exact same thing happened again, but just in reverse. So there were six touchdowns in that first half, three in the first quarter, three in the second quarter. In the first quarter, um, there was Tannehill threw to Rashard Matthews for a 53-yard touchdown pass to start the game, and then two more touchdown passes to Jarvis Landry. One was 50 yards, and one was 10 yards, to take a 21-0 lead. And then Tannehill threw to Lamar Miller for 54 yards for another touchdown in the second. There was a pick six, and then Lamar Miller had an 85-yard run to make it 41 to nothing. There must have been a missed extra point there somewhere on the line. But what was pretty incredible about that was out of those six touchdowns, four of them were 50 plus yards. And that it was the first time that that had happened since like 1940 that someone had scored a 50 or more yard, four of them in one half. So that was pretty cool. Second half kind of tapered down a little bit. In fact, Houston, the team that they were playing, ended up starting scoring some stuff on their own. Arian Foster had a couple touchdown runs, made it 41-13. Um, and then Nate Washington had a couple receiving touchdowns. And in between those two receiving touchdowns, Miami kicked a field goal. So that made it the final score 41-13. Or excuse me, 44-26. 41-13 was the third quarter score. 44-26 was the final score. Miami Dolphins, they clobbered the Houston Texans, which living in Houston, I kind of grew fond of the Texans. Uh, so, you know, it is what it is with that. But when I'm on at a game somewhere, I'm rooting for the home team, unless they're playing like one of my Detroit teams. Had Houston would have won that game, all right, cool, good for Houston. But since they didn't, I was a Dolphin fan for a day, and they ended up winning. The crowd was pretty happy with it. Good for the Dolphins. As regards the stadium itself, Sun Life Stadium, it's something that it has. Well, it was Sun Life Stadium beforehand. Um, it's now called Hard Rock Stadium. They've switched names, and there's a nice big canopy that's kind of over it. That changed. That wasn't there when I was there the first time, and they've also added additional screens. Before it was just one on each end zone. Now there's like four and one in every corner. So that's how they are now. The capacity of the stadium is 65,326, and the attendance that day was 65,251. And I looked around. I could see that that was accurate. Definitely a full stadium. Like I said, a big crowd. When we left, traffic getting out of there was crazy. I don't remember too much going in. I don't remember there being too bad going into the stadium both days. And then for the Hurricanes game, I don't remember it being that bad going out because it wasn't that full of a game. But definitely trying to leave um, that day was difficult. There was a lot of people, so it wasn't easy to get out of there. Um, but a pretty cool stadium, and they have a lot of bowl games that they play there and other additional things. Whether or not if I'm ever in the area and I'll get to see a game and go see maybe how it looks now under the canopy and with those screens, that'd be cool. But if not, that's okay. I have seen it. It's in Miami Gardens, um, I guess, which is attached to Miami. I guess it's all part of it. But anyways, just some miscellaneous things about the Miami Dolphins themselves. I think of them when I think of them. Of course, one of the things I think of the most is one of their most famous iconic quarterbacks, Dan Marino. What he did. I remember as a kid playing video games with him on it, like Tecmo Bowl or Tecmo Super Bowl. I grew up playing those games. He was on there. I remember doing a play action pass to Irving Fryer, and always got some big yards on that one, touchdowns. Um, I also remember them in the movie Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. I think they had a mascot dolphin that got kidnapped or something like dolphin napped, if that's even a word. That's where he got hired to come find it. And it ended up being disgruntled kicker that didn't like Dan Marino. Spoiler alert if you've never seen that movie, that's what happened. Anyways, so I remember them being in that movie. They also, too, are the only truly undefeated team to ever be in the NFL, I believe. Um, Years ago, the Patriots had an undefeated season, went all the way up to the Super Bowl, but lost the Super Bowl. So they didn't go from front to start or front to start to finish undefeated. Miami Dolphins did. Now, granted, they didn't play as many games back then, but they still had an undefeated season throughout Super Bowl. That was like in the 70s. I forget what year was it, 76 or 79. I have to look it up. But it was the only team to ever do that. They do have a song. They have a touchdown fight song. Not every team has a fight song or has a touchdown song. The Detroit Lions do, um, which is kind of interesting. But anyways, the Miami Dolphins one, I don't even know what it's called if it has an official name or not. But it's kind of this catchy little song, and not saying I like it or anything, but it's not bad. It's just kind of a unique little catchy jingle. It played a lot. I mean, they scored 6 touchdowns, so we got to hear the song at least 6 times. They may have even played it. Did they play it with the field goal, or did they play it with first downs or anything else? Maybe, I don't know. But at least with the touchdown. So we heard it at least 6 times. So that's kind of interesting. And for that season back in 2015, that ended up being their third victory of the year. They didn't have the greatest year in the world. They went 6-10 altogether. They've had some good years, and they've had some years that they weren't great. I know a couple years ago I think they hung like 70 points on the team once. Um, Pretty high powered offense, I think Tua still, he was their quarterback, if he still is here. But anyways, but it was pretty cool to go see. Anytime you can go see an NFL game, no matter what the team is, you're gonna have a good time. You're gonna have a good atmosphere, and you're gonna enjoy yourself. I know I did. And if it's something that you'd like to go see him too, let me know. Or as I mentioned, if you want to go on vacation, specifically cruises are my specialty. Perhaps you'd like to do something I would do. Cruises do go out of Miami, so maybe go see a cruise during football season. Come back and go see a football game. I've done that before, and I'll talk about those in other podcasts as well. But if you do, that's something you'd like to do, feel free to reach out to me. Again, my email address, I'll start with that, j.paradise@gmail.com, jay paradise@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me through social media. My Instagram and Facebook is Jay's Paradise Travel, Jay's Paradise Travels. You can look out to me. You can reach out to me uh, that way as well. But yeah, it was a nice time. Was able to get there early enough where I get to see all the pregame stuff. That was always fun. Stayed all the way up to the end. Thankfully, the friends that I went with didn't want to leave right away. So I always appreciate that. My next time, maybe you would too. Again, let me know. And if you like this video, please like the video itself, subscribe to the channel, share it with other people. Love to be your travel agent as well as your family and friends. Try to make this world a happier place, one vacation at a time. If you have any thoughts on the Miami Dolphins, maybe you went to a game, maybe you're a fan of them, maybe you've had some kind of experience down there in Hard Rock Stadium, whatever it is, feel free to type it in the chat. Love to hear your comments on them and to be able to talk with you about the team. So again, thank you for tuning in and listening today, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye bye.